Welcome to the Babies in Business Podcast. Join your hosts, Rachel and Avram Gonzales, real-life parents and business partners. Each week on Babies in Business, Rachel and Avram create a space for entrepreneurial parents to find their own way. They'll dive into insights on topics like leadership, efficiency, self-awareness, budgeting, and human psychology as they nurture their family and build their business. Here's your hosts, Avram and Rachel.
Where does giving somebody the benefit of the doubt end and trusting your gut begin?
It's a great question.
It's a question that I posed to my Facebook buddies a couple weeks back and found the response to be pretty tremendous. Seems like a lot of people have had experiences in the past where they gave someone the benefit of the doubt and then it came back to bite them in the butt. So we're back. It's Avram and Rachel. Welcome to the podcast. That's our topic for us here today. We've got some things that we want to share with you about this topic to pull it apart, look at where this might work for you, work against you, answer this hot topic from our perspective. And as always, keeping it in the context of building a business while building your family. This topic reaches on both sides of the aisle, and we want to deep dive, explore that. Today, I want to kick things off and ask you, Rachel, where you think the term benefit of the doubt actually comes from and what its intention was when it was created.
Gosh, I mean, as we've been talking about this and I've done just some thinking about it, for me, I don't know where it really came from, but I think it came from religion for me for sure. Turn the other cheek, let other people do what they will, and you have choices about what you will do. And I really think that that's where it came from, is maybe religion.
I think you're onto something with that. I think it's seen as something of virtue.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's a virtue to give somebody the benefit. Feels like maybe it stems from trying not to judge people too quickly.
Yeah, well, and as I'm thinking about it, I think though that, so what are the situations where I would be giving someone a benefit of the doubt? Well, I always allow people to show me who they are instead of listening to a rumor or whatever is going on. You can hear all sorts of things about a person, and then you can come in with preconceived notions. That has happened. But I work really hard to make sure that I allow the person that I'm meeting or whatever situation we're encountering to actually show me who they are. So if I'm giving someone the benefit of the doubt, it is because I have allowed them to show me who they are. And who they are, I'm just questioning, can this really be true? Is this reality? Maybe I'm getting something wrong. Maybe I'm sensing something wrong. Maybe my intuition is off or something like that.
I agree with that. Especially when we have zero information about the person, feels like that's the time when we want to give them the benefit to show up as the way that they are.
Yeah, but I really don't think that's the benefit of the doubt, though, when it's a beginning of a relationship. I think it's really the process of getting to know somebody. So I don't think that really, for me, I don't think that really applies at that point.
So you think
it's
perhaps it's after the initial meeting.
Yeah,
and then there are things that occur that maybe don't line up with some of your values or your expectations.
Yeah, whatever it might be. I mean, we've got some examples that we're going to talk about that kind of illustrate this. But, I do want to point out, though, in this episode that I hope that if this is a thing for you, like you give people the benefit of the doubt and you've been burnt a lot, that this acts as permission to yourself to actually recalibrate and ask, is this working for me and does this serve me? Because that's where I arrived after my divorce in 2018. And my life has actually just gotten immensely better since then.
I think I have nothing to do with that. No, you made the changes in your life that made room for me and other people to show up
Absolutely.
that matched this new reality that you were stepping into. That
Yeah.
you did all the work.
Yeah.
You did all the work.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just feel like at that moment, there were many moments, but there was a moment where I thought, the quote came up, and I've said this before in previous podcasts, where I think of the quote, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. And I've seen the pattern in friends and family and different people that women that are with someone that treat them poorly go back to the same kind of man over and over and over. This was my first marriage. He was very abusive to me in so many different ways, and I didn't even realize it until I got out. And I thought, okay, so if I keep doing what I'm doing, then I'm going to get another man like that. I don't want that. I would rather be single for the rest of my life. So I did something drastic, and that was I chose to say, when a decision was at play, I needed to make a decision of one kind or another, I would look at what I would normally be inclined to do, and that was normally safe or comfortable or familiar, and I would do the opposite. And I can confidently say that I met and got to, actually, I'm now your wife, through the process of making those choices, of choosing things that I would not normally choose, because I knew that something deep down inside did not work for me. It was not serving me.
I think you touch on something important, which is you were programmed or wired a particular way that then had you in situations where you were second guessing
All the time.
the gut feelings that you had, because maybe this does go back to the religion piece. You felt wrong
Yep.
for feeling the way that you did, feeling like you were judging
Yeah.
the other person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah. So there's a lot of things that were deeply rooted for me in how I was brought up, the conversations that I would have with my mom, and different things about different things. And relationship was a big topic for me in asking and talking to my mom, because I wanted one that was successful. And
I think it's
gosh,
I think it's a spot that hits a lot of people. Relationship is not always the easiest thing, whether it's friends, your spouse, marriage, all the different places that you might relate to other people. Sometimes our picker is off.
absolutely.
And I think that's where it gets very difficult in this conversation about trusting your gut versus giving someone the benefit of the doubt, is sometimes we wonder if we can trust our gut.
Yeah.
So then we give people the benefit of the doubt. And that's been one of the biggest things that I know that I've struggled with in different parts of my journey, even in business, is the confidence to move forward with certainty, even when things are uncertain. I know that we all grapple with that, but then just really doubting what I was experiencing, because on some level, you've heard information from somebody else about this is the way that you might do it or approach it. This is what the experts are saying, but your gut is saying something different.
Yeah.
That is really difficult to pull apart.
Sure.
And
Well, and like you said, we're talking about like, where does trusting your gut and then giving you the benefit of the doubt come in? And in my situation, trusting my gut was kind of off. I felt like the setting was off. So I needed to recalibrate to like normal. What is normal? what makes me happy? And this quote by Brené Brown, it changed my life, because for so long I had lived not wanting to hurt somebody, but all my life I was hurting myself. So I wanted to avoid saying something that would offend someone or whatever that was. And this quote just opened everything up for me, because I realized that I have the right to factor into that equation, that I'm somebody too. It's not about the other person only. So the quote is, clear is kind and unclear is unkind. And what that told me is, well, first off, I think that honesty comes from us. If we don't know something for ourselves and what works for us, how can we begin to be honest with a partner? If I don't know that I like eggs, how can I begin to tell you that? Maybe you keep cooking me eggs and I hate eggs. You know, it could be something simple
But
like
he's
that.
being so sweet. He's making me breakfast.
Exactly.
I don't want to upset
I don't
him
want
by
to bring it
telling
up
him-
because, oh my gosh, and it's been 10 years and he finally figures this out. And then, will he love me? Will he doubt me? All these things. So it tells me, though, that as we gain clarity for what works for us, we can then be clear with somebody else. And being clear with them about what does and does not work for us is truly kind to everybody involved. They don't wonder. I don't wonder. And I also don't have this like bubble of feelings of guilt and remorse and frustration and anger and rage and any of those feelings that we could be feeling, because I get to just say it straight out. I don't have to feel bad about it. It's not about them.
It's not about them
At all.
This brings up a story from my past, and when I used the benefit of the doubt to go against what I knew, and it affected other people that I knew as well.
Building a business while raising a family can be tough to juggle for any entrepreneur. Knowing where to focus and how to spend your limited time is critical to your success. That's why Babies in Business has produced and made available a fantastic audio resource for you. It's titled 5 Key Focus Areas to Build a Profitable Business Without Burnout. During this short training, Rachel and Avram peel back the curtain on their secrets to building a business that serves your family, your dreams, and beyond. To download your free copy of the 5 Key Focus Areas, go to babiesandbiz.com/download. Again, that's babiesandbiz.com/download to get your free copy. We hope you enjoy. Now, back to the podcast.
There was this person that joined a networking group that I'm a part of, and when I sat down and I had my first meeting with them, I came home to Rachel and I said, you remember what I said?
There's something off with this guy?
I said,
I don't like him?
I don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't like him. And as I sat with that, I felt like, wow, that's the first time I've met with them. They're going to be in this circle with me for some time. I don't know how long that's going to be. I need to get along. Yeah. And then I also was looking at the advantage of having this person in my network. In the past, I looked at their profession as a great partnership for our agency service. This profession would easily refer people to us over and over and over again. So what did I do? I shut it down and I gave that person the benefit of the doubt. Now, here's where it got interesting even more, was other people had the same experience as me. And they said, Avram, I don't like him. I don't like him. And you know what I did? I talked a couple other people out of their knowing.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to give the person the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
That maybe they're just awkward or strange, but they're not a bad person. I had no evidence to say that they're a bad person.
Well, and I think you actually had that feeling before you met with him in person, because you're like, oh, he's really weird at the meetings.
Sure.
And that was on Zoom. And then you met with him physically and you thought maybe that would change, but it really didn't. It kind of solidified how you had felt about him.
Yeah.
Initially.
Yeah. So the long story short, friends, you know where this is going. Fast forward a year or two, whatever it was. This person ended up becoming a enemy. You know, they were out there saying bad things about me because at a certain point I shut the relationship down and I did not have the courage to speak clearly to that person about why I was shutting it down. So I just started acting weird.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid of ruffling the feathers too much of this entire group that I'm a part of. Well, what if I bring it up? What if I'm seen as the negative person? What if I'm seen as being judgmental?
Right.
That could work against me. So all these reasons and considerations all led to me not trusting the gut, giving them the benefit, allowing them to trample over that benefit, over and over and
Right.
over again, and me give them continual excuses.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point. It's like, when does that benefit of the doubt stop? So once we've given it, is there a time that we retract it?
I think it's like that quote. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Because somebody said it when I posted this on Facebook the other day. I think it was our good friend Ashley Sanchez. Shout out to Ashley. Oh, Ashley Cordova.
Right.
You go, girl. She said, first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you, right? So I think the benefit ends after.
And when they show you.
When they show you.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, that's over.
Well, and I think it can get really unclear when it's like, it's not like, okay, so I'm telling you I don't like phone calls after 9 p.m. and you call me at 9:30. That's a real clear delineation of boundaries being crossed. But when it's something like just showing up as themselves and they're obnoxious or they're unkind or rude or whatever those qualities are that you do not identify with and that really grate on you and are not okay with you, I think we have to be able to say, this doesn't work for me and I don't have to explain why.
Yeah.
Not having to explain is awesome. We don't actually have to explain why it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. I don't want to meet with you. I don't want to be around you.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. And, I've had situations too. The one situation we've kind of talked about a little bit is how I grew up with religion in my past and then marriage and my ex cheated on me and I forgave him and I didn't even have a second thought about forgiving him. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt that was me saying, okay, I know that you have betrayed me, but I'm betting on you not betraying me again.
That's a tough bet.
It's a tough bet, but not only that, it's like when you have that situation in a relationship, and I know that this is a marriage and it's different than probably any of you listening to this, maybe not. But how do you go from hopefully being equals in a relationship and equally pulling your weight or giving your 100% to, okay, now I hold the cards because I was the one that forgave you for cheating on me and you're going to have to prove that you won't for the rest of your life.
Again, tough.
So it became, that was the beginning of the end for he and I. It did not work for me. And I didn't realize that for 2 more years after that. I ended up leaving after 2 years, but I stayed because I thought that I could make it work. I thought that, I owed it to him. And that was kind of my benefit of the doubt, that version. And it did not work for me. So to sum it up for me though, the benefit of the doubt has never worked for me. It has never served me. Not once. I cannot actually say that giving someone the benefit of the doubt has ever served me. Because what that means for me is that I had a feeling, I had an intuition, I had a thought. Whatever that was, I had something that was contradictory to my actions after I gave the benefit of the doubt. And none of those ever served me.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ignore that feeling.
Let's just squelch it.
I want to give another shout to a good friend of mine, Patty Prophet. She wrote and commented, I think this will be a good place for us to land it, that many women that are attacked say after the incident that they had a gut feeling but ignored it. Never ignore your gut feeling. It's there to protect you. And I think that's a big piece of this. It's there to protect you. The problem is, in today's age, it's less about the actual survival of our bodies. What you are protecting now is so much different than just that.
Right.
You're protecting your reputation. You're protecting your family. You're protecting your wealth. There are many things that we're protecting, and just because it feels more complicated and more in the gray area than black and white, because it's not just about, do I run or do I fight?
Right.
It feels different and more nuanced, but bringing it all back around, where does benefit of the doubt end? Right after the first time.
Yeah.
If you continue to give that benefit, then you are essentially going against your gut.
Yeah. And it really doesn't serve you. And then I just go back to that quote, when I'm faced with stuff and someone is asking me a question and I don't have a prepared answer for this. It's a situation that I'm not prepared for, but that happens to us every single day. I actually ask that question to myself. What is the clear way of saying this? Because I want to be clear and I want to be kind. Clear is kind. And it has served me so well. And it's received well. Because some people use honesty as an excuse to be unkind and they can say things that you wouldn't otherwise say.
Yeah, cruel.
Yeah, they can be cruel. And this isn't what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is just the invitation of getting clear on what works for you, getting clear on what your absolute deal breakers are, and then not letting people cross them, because you are the only bouncer to your boundary. You are the one that says this is where it stops. Nobody else will. Nobody's coming in to save you and help you with your boundaries. Only you.
When somebody shows you who they are,
believe them.
Thanks for listening in today on the podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, and such on this episode. I know it's a big one. I know that everybody can relate to this, and I would just love to hear for you. Where does it end? Where does giving the benefit of the doubt end? And where does trusting your gut begin? Got another friend of mine that said, Mary Barnett, shout out to Mary. She said, always trust your gut. Benefit of the doubt? Screw that. Right? So I'd love to hear where you're at on the spectrum and your thoughts. You can find us on all the different social channels at Babies and Biz Pod. You can also connect with us on the website, babiesandbiz.com. And make sure, if you haven't already, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps people that are looking for new shows and content to say yes and discover the fun, exciting world that is babies and business. We appreciate you for listening. That's all for now.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Babies in Business Podcast. Who do you know that would benefit from hearing this episode? Share it with them and post about it on social media. You can find the show notes for this episode, free downloads, and connect with the rest of the community at babiesandbiz.com. We'll see you next time.